General Goldfein, you mentioned the difference between the benign environment that we're used to and increasing in a warfighting environment, which your joint statement from all the witnesses says right there on page 2. What exactly is the risk that we face in space now, in layman's terms, so the ordinary American can understand it? Because I think most ordinary Americans do believe that space is a benign environment.
Well, again, to the average American who goes to an ATM and pulls money out of that ATM, the timing signal that ATM relies on comes from GPS satellites that are flown and managed by the United States Air Force. You want to take a look at not only how many activities are dependent, you can look at the transportation industry, whether you want to talk airlines or trains, it's dependent on that signal. So just from a GPS constellation standpoint, I would argue that globally, this is a constellation that we have got to ensure that we are monitoring and protecting. So when we call it a joint warfighting domain, the idea here is that we actually know how to fight on land, at sea, in the air, and we have tried and true tactics, techniques, and procedures. And so now is the time for us to apply those to the space domain so it becomes further integrated and normalized across how we fight. And so that's why anything that actually talks about the business of separating and space in the same sentence, I submit to you as moving us in the wrong direction. Anything that talks about integrating and normalizing space is moving us in the right direction.
And that threat to normal Americans about their ATM machines sounds pretty dangerous. Who would do such a thing? What countries would be able to, or what adversaries would be able to disable those satellite constellations?
So without going into, and I could come on and get on your schedule for more of a class.
No, I know who they are. I was just wondering if you wanted to say who they are.
So right now, in terms of who we're watching that's investing most in taking away our advantages in space, the two countries that are making the most investment in this area are China and Russia.
And is it the asymmetry that we face just inherent in our geopolitical situation? We sit here in the new world and we try to project power into the old world across vast domains, and therefore we're inherently going to rely more on the space constellation than any old world power like Russia or China will. Secretary Wilson, you look like you'd like to respond.
Senator, let me take that one. It's not just our role in the world, it is that we're really good at it, and hence we've become heavily dependent upon it. And when it was uncontested, that was a nice place to be. But our adversaries know it, that we are heavily dependent upon it and very good at it, and hence they see the vulnerability. So in any conflict, space is going to be contested. And we see the capabilities, and the folks can come up and brief you in a classified way, but it's also their declaratory policy. It has been publicly, the Russians have publicly stated that this is part of their declaratory policy to develop capabilities to deny us the use of space in any conflict.
Thank you all.